We are at the end of our three-sister garden planting and direction, how Grandma was trying to teach you how to create this garden. Now, if you remember, as a refresher, the Iroquois and the Cherokee called corn, bean, and squash the three sisters because they nurtured each other like family when planted together. These agriculturists placed corn in a small hill, planting beans around them and interspersing squash throughout the field. Here again is a refresher. This was the first Three Sisters companion planting. The step one was in the spring, prepare the soil by adding fish scraps or wood ash to increase fertility. And then down below, preferably conduct a soil test and prepare the garden site. Add compost or other materials such as peat moss or manure to the soil. This will improve the soil structure and add nutrients. If you have grown a green manure cover crop such as winter rye, turn it under 2 or 3 times 3 weeks before planting. Preparing the corn, and if you can see, it was on a hill, and you have the 6 corns that we planted, and basically the instructions were make a mound of soil 1 foot high and 4 feet wide. When the danger of frost has passed, sow 6 kernels of corn an inch deep and about 10 inches apart in a circle of about 2 feet in diameter. To sow in gardening means to plant a seed, and as well as down below, don't plant beans and squash until the corn is about 1 foot tall, strong enough to support the beans. Now remember, this is companion planting. Also in the corner here, we have sow your corn kernel 1 inch deep in soil. And notice you're planting the corn with the pointy side down. Number 3, when the corn is about 8 to 10 inches tall, plant 4 bean seeds evenly spaced around each stalk. Now, this is a new video, and notice the beans, okay? Here's the corn. It's about 8 to 10 inches tall, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 beans you plant around the corn stalk. And this is the beans that you and I had talked about in the previous video. Plant soaked beans 1 inch deep. Okay. The reason for the bean is this. The purpose of the beans pull nitrogen from the air and bring it to the soil, and vines wind and twist toward the sunlight. They bind the 3 together and provide structure. And the corn provides the corn is the one that provides the structure for the beans because there's a corn stalk. This is step number 4, okay? About a week later, after you plant the beans, plant 6 squash seeds evenly spaced, okay? Here you have, remember, here's your corn, the 6 corns, and then you've already planted your beans, and they should be small little sprouts here. Then on the outside of the mound, okay, You plant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squash seeds. Now look at the squash seeds. And that's basically, you plant it. You plant it evenly spaced around the perimeter of the mound. Okay, so again, this is where you plant around. Okay, on the kind of like more so kind of on the edge. The purpose for the squash is the large leaves of the sprawling squash provides shade, keeping the soil cool, moist, and weed-free. And it creates a living mulch that shades moist and preventing weeds. The prickly squash leaves also keep away raccoons, which don't like to step on them. So the squash really does play a good part. Now notice each of these have a certain part and a reason, and they all help one another. And the companion planting is actually really wonderful. The corn stalk is what holds up and the beans, and then the squash and its large leaves basically covers the ground so that the moisture remains. Now, instead of using the squash, you can actually use watermelon or gourd. You know what the gourd seeds are. It's G-O-U-R-D, gourd. And they're incredible. That's what Native Americans make their shakers out of. So you can substitute anything basically that covers the ground to maintain the moisture. And it's been a wonderful adventure with you and Grandma to, look at how we can plant a three-sister garden, not necessarily having soil nearby, but just direction. And I know each of you are just incredible farmers and gardeners. So this is it. And Grandma loves you and says, Hagona, enjoy, continue to plant. And next time, the last thing we will do is to show how to save the seeds, the beans, the squash, the bean, and the corn seed. And there's a little trick to it that otherwise we're done. Hagona.